Hi, everyone. Welcome to the 700 Club. Good news out of Haiti today. An American nurse and her child are free after being kidnapped and held hostage for about 2 weeks.
Their release is an answer to the prayers of Christians all over the world. And now the best hope is for a spiritual awakening in this dangerous and poverty-stricken nation. Mark Martin has the story.
Amid ongoing violence that briefly forced the U.S. Embassy to close its doors this week, an answer to prayer in Haiti.
My name is Alex. I'm a nurse from New Hampshire, but now I live in Haiti.
American nurse Alex Dorsonville and her young daughter are free after being released by the gang that took them captive. El Roy, the Christian humanitarian relief organization where Dorsonville works, gave thanks in a statement on the website. We praise God that he has proven himself faithful as he restores, supports, and strengthens Alex and her family, the ministry of El Roy Haiti, and the community that Alex has impacted and continues to impact with her ministry in Haiti. The U.S. State Department confirmed the news.
We welcome their release. We have no greater priority, of course, than the safety and security of U.S. citizens overseas.
The details surrounding their freedom are not clear, but Haitian law enforcement reported that negotiations began shortly after the abduction. Dorsonville is married to the ministry's director. These images from El Roy, Haiti show her treating Haitian children. She and her child were kidnapped late last month while working near the capital of Port-au-Prince. Thousands of Haitians protested this week, calling for more protection from the gangs that rule most of Port-au-Prince. According to the UN, more than 1,600 people have been reported killed, injured, or kidnapped in the first 3 months of 2023. Armed groups mostly abduct women and children, holding them hostage for ransom or as a bargaining chip. One security analyst reports the least protected people are usually humanitarian groups. Despite the grim situation, Gloria Rapica, the founder of Love and Hope Ministries, a missions group that works in Haiti, tells CBN's Faith Nation that hope is not lost.
That's why we continue to invest in children. We invest in pastors, helping people, because we know that God can change the situation at any time. There's always hope in Jesus.
Mark Martin, CBN News.
Thank you, Mark. We certainly rejoice and celebrate this release. We, for weeks now, have been telling you about Haiti and the crisis there, the situation with gangs and hostages and ransoms. It is a terribly dangerous situation, so we will keep you updated on what's going on. In other news, wildfires sweeping the Hawaiian island of Maui are devastating homes and businesses, forcing thousands of people to flee. Ephraim Graham has that story and more from the CBN newsroom. Ephraim.
Andrew, emergency responders say at least 36 people have died and dozens are injured. Mass evacuations are underway with thousands of residents and tourists racing to escape fires that are destroying one of the most beautiful and historic parts of Hawaii.
There's hundreds of homes burned down to the ground. The entire area of Front Street, the whole historic area is gone, burned to the ground, the harbor.
Multiple fires began flaring up Tuesday and quickly spread, swallowing up beautiful landscapes and centuries-old buildings. Hundreds of homes and businesses are damaged or destroyed. In Lahaina, once the capital of the native Hawaiian kingdom, homes dating back to the 1700s reportedly are gone. The fast-moving flames causing panic and a fight for survival.
Hey, if anybody's still out here, it's time to go!
I was the last one off the dock when the firestorm came through the banyan tree and took everything with it. And I just ran out to the beach and I ran south and I just helped everybody I could along the way.
The Coast Guard rescuing more than a dozen people who jumped into the ocean to escape the fire. Firefighters are working around the clock, but the winds and dry conditions are feeding the fires. Southern California pastor Greg Laurie leads a congregation in Maui. Just weeks ago, CBN News traveled with him on his most recent visit. Today, he's posting on social media some video of that trip and the devastation that's occurred since.
Here's a video that we shot recently when we were over there, and I'm riding a Vespa down Front Street. And now, as you see how beautiful it is, look at these images of what it has looked like when this fire raged through this city and burned down most of the structures in it.
Unreal. Pastor Laurie also announced a relief fund to support the church's efforts to bring hope and the gospel to the hurting people of Maui. You can go to CBN News for more information on that. I want to turn now to economic news. The inflation rate edged up in July, rising to 3.2%, boosted by higher energy prices. The rise interrupts a streak that saw inflation steadily decline over the past year, down from a high of 9.1% in June of 2022. The news could increase the chances the Federal Reserve will continue its policy of hiking interest rates to stop prices from rising. Those high interest rates are making it harder to pay off credit cards as Americans are hitting a new high in credit card debt. The overall balance shot above the $1 trillion mark for the first time. CBN Washington reporter Hillary Powell takes a closer look at the trend.
Although credit card balances are at an historic high, the New York Federal Reserve reports that generally people are still able to make their payments on time for now. There are 70 million more credit cards open than there were before the pandemic, and that's really changing how families are choosing how to spend. The larger concern is credit cards are increasingly being used to pay down household bills. Experts say that could be the reason why credit card debt for families nationwide is unprecedented at a record-setting $1 trillion. CPA Howard Dvorkin says the use of plastic is back up after consumers took a pandemic pause on spending.
People are subsidizing their normal costs, their normal living expenses, using the credit cards. So maybe things were great 3 years ago, but now with the inflated expenses for groceries and fuel and all the other expenses and travel, I have to say, because the airports are very busy, they're using the credit cards to pay for it.
Other balances such as retail stores, consumer loans, and car loans add to the household balance sheet, as well as financial frustration. A recent Debt.com survey reports Americans who admit feeling stressed after using credit cards is up 15% since last year. The federal government is in the same boat with the U.S. Congressional Budget Office, projecting the national debt to be nearly twice as large as the entire U.S. economy in 30 years. Congress could slow that trend by cutting spending. One suggestion from the CBO, however, mentions limiting Social Security as an option, which won't be popular with politicians in an election year. The office also warns higher debt can erode confidence in the U.S. dollar. Dvorkin says before your next bill arrives, families should create a budget.
Maybe it's not the greatest financial planning thing that you've done, but it'll put a good ability for you to chart a path out of debt, out of financial stress, and figure out, okay, what's my next move?
Now, when you add in the elevated interest rates, it becomes even more of a challenge to pay off credit card debt. Bankrate.com reports that the average interest charge for credit cards right now is around 20%. So again, an even heavier burden for families with a really tight budget. For CBN News Washington, I'm Hillary Powell.
A heavy financial burden indeed. Andrew?
It was incredible to hear 70 million, more credit cards are open now than before the pandemic. And with these interest rates, that is tough. And, you know, a lot of American families and individuals don't really learn about money and financial management until after we've made mistakes. So before you swipe the credit card next time, think about the future a little bit. Some good advice there.